Hello, everyone. My name is Kimberly, your self-love sister. Welcome to the waiting room. Today I'm joined with Mason. How are you,
I'm good,
Mason?
thanks, Kimberly. Thank you for asking me to come on.
Perfect. Let me introduce our guest, Mason. His name is Mason. He has Crohn's disease. He was diagnosed in 2017 and he is 22 years old. He loves spreading awareness, sharing his journey along the way, and he's super easy to talk to. So, welcome, Mason. I know that you also have a podcast.
I do, yes. That my podcast is called Crohn's and Autism Awareness Advocate. And there's so many different things. There's all year round. There's normally a different series about a different topic. So all about raising awareness, really. And I've been doing that since 2020.
Yes, and we met because your mom actually sent me a message saying, "Can you please be a guest on my son's podcast?" And we've stayed friends ever since. And I love connecting with you. I love raising awareness together. I've been on a few of your episodes, and I love it.
It's always good fun to be invited back, and I think this might have been my second or third time on a podcast of yours. So it's great fun to go on someone else's podcast because you don't have to worry about you don't have to worry about anything really, do you? So you just chill.
That is true. All the pressure is on me. Nice
Yes.
way. Not nice. So, Mason, how has your Crohn disease, like, has it gotten worse ever since your diagnosis? Or please explain for those that don't know what Crohn's disease is.
Okay. For anyone who doesn't know what Crohn's disease is, and then I'll go into how it's affected me when I got diagnosed. So basically, what it is, it's a disease, that impacts everyone differently. There's some people have surgery because of it. Some people take medication. Some people don't. It's all dependent on how it is for you. So it affects it stands for IBD, so inflammatory bowel disease. That's what it's like a bracket. Like think of like a group, um, and then you've got Crohn's disease in there. You've also got ulcerative colitis in there, which impacts your colon. It's in the same bracket of Crohn's, but they're different things. But I have both. In a way, I have both. I have something called patchy pans, which is the worst form of Crohn's. Well, funny enough, it's the worst form, but I'd say my Crohn's hasn't been as bad in the sense of having surgeries and stuff, because I haven't had the surgery for my Crohn's yet. Fingers crossed. Um, but it will impact people differently. So it impacts you from your eyes, all the way down, so near every part of your body, really. It can impact your eyes, in your mouth. Um, it's really horrible that way. And like most chronic illnesses, a lot of people may not, people don't see it. So you might look all right, but you're not all right in the inside. Which I wish people would see that. I wish we could have, like, when we're walking down the street, people actually see like there's red on your insides and it's all sore, and people don't see that. So that's a little bit about what Crohn's disease is. But when I got diagnosed, I was put on steroids straight away, because I was in so much pain. Um, it wasn't easy to get diagnosed. There was a big fight. I had to get appointments and everything with the pain I was in. Um, and then really ever since I've been on, like, there has been ups and downs. So like I'd be on medication. The first medication I was on, like biologic, I had a reaction after a year, and then the one I'm on now, it's like up and down. It's like it's not good because it makes you more vulnerable to catching other things. So you always have to be careful, especially in the winter months. Um, uh, Whenever it's the winter, I like to stay away from people, because I know it's that season everyone gets ill.
Oh,
Not that people don't get ill anyway in other seasons, but I think the winter is very known, very known for it.
yeah, it's more likely.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So, is there anything that people can do to not prevent it, but like to live a better way of life?
Yeah, so there is lots of things people can do. It's like one, try and I don't say don't think about it because you're always going to think about it. But if you're doing all right, like even for a day or something, make the most of it. Because you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. But a lot of people a lot of people can go through the medication that you're given and run out because they've tried loads. And then there's always other resorts, but um, like which is why there's a community out there where people have it and you're not on your own. So which is why I guess why people love to raise awareness of it because if they didn't, I guess no one would know about it as much.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's a quote I live by says, "Want to see the change, be the change." So I think ever since I was a guest on your podcast, you inspired me to open up my own, and it's been great. It's been beautiful. You meet so many amazing people, even though we don't have the same chronic illness, but we can relate to a bunch of stuff. And also like you're not just my quote unquote sick friend. You inspired me to do my own podcast and spread awareness. And it's amazing. And where do you live?
UK. So
Yeah.
I always say London because it's the nearest people will know, but I don't live in London. Whenever people like who don't live in the UK ask me where I live, I'll just say London because no one would know where I live. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be the oldest place in England, funny enough. But yeah, I live in England and I'm glad that I inspired you to start your own podcast.
Yes, of course. And you see, now I have a friend in London.
It's great. It is great. And the last time I went to London was a couple of years ago for one of my birthdays. And I went up at a place called the Shard, which is very expensive. And it's very expensive. And there was like a VR kind of thing where you like it's like you're on this roller coaster. But yeah, um, it's great. But with like the podcast, I do plan to take a little break in the new year, like from recording for a few months, because I've always had I've never had a proper break. I've always had like maybe a week or two, but not like a few months. So I'll be doing that from next year.
Oh yeah, it's always good to take like I call it like social media break, because it's just a time to like soak in what you've done. It's really healthy as well for
Yeah,
your mental health. I tried VR last year for the first time and I absolutely loved it. It was for a Monet exhibit for like the painter and you got like the his paintings came to life and I loved it. I got so dizzy, but it was wonderful. I would do it again.
yeah. It it can be scary sometimes, depending on what it is, because there can be like scary stuff that you can do in VR. There can be nice stuff. I remember before I did my skydive last year, a couple of years before that, I did an indoor one where you could have the VR like you're actually flying, in the little dome. Um, but yeah, it is great. Like I remember I think it was a lockdown. I got a game and I was playing it on the VR, and I kept having to lift it up because it was a bit scary. And like you're not, but when you're on the VR, you don't really worry about your surroundings. So it's like you're there, but so say you're actually in the living room, and I was actually doing in this room I'm in, and I was there, and then I was moving, and I bumped into something, and it's
Yes.
you don't really worry about that. But hopefully in the future, I'd like them to do something where um there's actually a film called Ready Player One, and I don't know if you've seen it. So Ready Player One does is a VR game. Well, it's a VR movie where you're actually in the actual game. So that would be nice. If like technology gets really good in the future, where we have flying cars and we can pop into an actual game without moving in real life.
That's insane. I've heard about that movie, but I haven't seen it. One, technology scares me. I do watch the show Black Mirror. I don't know if you've seen it,
I've
but
seen a little bit.
yeah, there's some episodes that are like virtual reality and stuff, and I'm like, oh no, see, this is when things can get a little too crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. It's very crazy, I think.
Yeah, but like everything there's good and bad, and I
Mm.
mean, 20 years ago, like social media did not take off, so you couldn't communicate with people. Nowadays, I have more virtual friends than real friends.
Yeah, yeah, same, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's easier to connect, especially with autoimmune disease, chronic illness. I mean, it's easier for the people that want to share. You could easily find people, whereas here you have to drive maybe an hour away to find the nearest person.
Mhm. It's crazy, I think, like how far people you can communicate with. Um, like it's not like me and you are just around the corner from each other, is it? So, so it's like we're just there on a call. Um, which is crazy to believe, really. Like we say, like 20 years ago, you wouldn't be able to do this, so it's good.
I know. In a way, obviously COVID was bad and it affected everyone, but it gave me a chance to be creative, to learn how to podcast because I needed that. I needed to feel close to people without actually getting close to people. So this was a beautiful win. It just took like that little shutting. Well, I don't know how long you were in lockdown for, but we were in lockdown for quite a bit. And unfortunately, I would have to go to the doctors and stuff because my health was like the worst it had ever been. So that was all my human interaction was with nurses and doctors. But
Yeah.
nevertheless, has it gotten worse for you on your end or
Well, with lockdowns, I've stopped everything now. Like it's almost like that was all like a dream over here. So you go into places now and almost masked anymore. To be honest, I don't wear them as much as I did when it was really bad. But I will say, I mean, I'm in a crowded environment. I'll wear them just to keep myself safe and not. I don't care if people look at me; they can look at me and as much as they want. They can have a photo if they like. But but yeah, like it's just, at the time it was really tough. I find I actually enjoyed it in a way, the lockdowns, because I like the fact that people could have a little bit of life, what it's like for maybe people with a chronic illness. And although I heard a lot of people it affected their mental health, people who maybe are not used to it, which is understandable. But with people, a lot of people out there are like that all the time. Um, and it's just the normal for them, which is why I took the opportunity because it was like a ghost town. Everyone, when it was locked down, everyone was told not to go out. So which I thought it was a good opportunity to go out because no one else is out, going out in the evenings, and especially when it got dark later. I always like when it gets dark later rather than earlier because it's almost like you wake up and then you're like, in a few hours' time, it's gonna be dark again. So yeah, but now it's almost like it's all forgotten now. Like as we see, there's more other things they're talking about on the news now than it. Um, than the COVID. But I think what we do need to realise though, it's still here, it's still about. Uh, it's not gone completely. I don't think it ever will, but I think because now I think I don't know about like US, but in UK, like we'd have our flu jab as normal, but you'd have your COVID vaccine as well. And I hear about people actually having them at the same time. They go for their flu jab and have it at the same time as the COVID vaccine. For me personally, when I had mine, I had them separately because I wouldn't want one to disrupt another one at the same time. But yeah, I think life has moved on, but not for everyone. Like COVID is very much still about, but it's almost like I said, it's like a dream for people now.
yeah. No, and you brought a very good point. I mean, for at least us, being on lockdown was it just happens, you know. There's times when we feel so ill we have to stay home. But and so it just gave a little glimpse to the world what we our everyday life is like, you know. I mean, there's sometimes like right now, I know you know, but like I had mentioned that I had my toes amputated, so I would have to be in the hospital. I was in the hospital for months. And then when I got home, I wasn't like it didn't feel like it because I still had to be in bed. I still had to recover. I mean, I can walk now. Unfortunately, I can't wear a shoe, but you know, it just gives a little glimpse of what people with chronic illness have to go through. And I love what you said that you were like, I would still go out because, you know, the likelihood of people being out is rare. And that was the same for me. I would still go to the grocery store, mask, gloves, and everything. But I would go with like the really elderly people, like in the morning at like 8 a.m. when the stores had just opened. You know, and that was my little time to somewhat go outside. And unfortunately, that is what I do now. You know, I don't really try to go outside. As the same for you, because of weather change, everyone's getting sick, everyone has the flu. And so I'm not trying to get anything else than what I already have.
Yeah, yeah, I agree, and it can be really hard. And when you actually first told me the story about your toes, I can imagine how it would be like for you, how much effect it would have like on your mental health and everything, because it's not something that you do want to go through, I guess, and until if it's necessary, like I think, but. You're very brave for even telling people that, because I would struggle to say that to people because maybe worry about what others think in the world. But I think we realise, don't we, with having a chronic illness and the community out there, like there's not, I'd say there's not much hate unless someone maybe comments that hasn't got it themselves, maybe. But it's good that you want to share that, because it's not easy to share information like that.
Yeah, no, you know, it took a while for me to verbally say what I had gone through without crying, you know, but now at the point I'm just like, well, I've been through it. That's fine. And I do share it mostly with my friends in the chronic illness, autoimmune disease community because I know they're understanding. I don't really say it to people out in the physical world unless I mean it's obvious. I have to wear a boot unless they ask, but I don't go around saying it, but here I feel like you said, like a safe space, mostly non-judgment, you know, and I feel like, I mean, it's something that I've gone through and I have to just, I want to share for people that maybe are not as brave yet and they want to look up to someone. So, you know, and I'm here. I don't mind doing it.
Yeah, it's a good place to do it. Um, I think, and if you're out in public and there's certain situations where you have to explain it, I guess that can be hard. If you have to explain it to maybe someone, if you're going to use a toilet or need to get in somewhere, and you'll need more support, because sometimes people don't understand and you may have to repeat yourselves, which can be hard. But that must be hard as well when I experience stuff like that and having to talk to people that are basically strangers to you, really.
Yeah, no, it is, and I don't like it when, you know, I'm telling someone that's quote unquote healthy and they look at me and they're listening and they give me pity. Like I mean, I don't, you know, I don't mind it, but unfortunately, like they're like, "Oh, but you're so young. How could you do this? Is there anything doctors can do?" And I don't like hearing it all the time. Like I like people to feel inspired by me and my story and you know, oh, you've gone through this. You must, you know, want good job. I don't like people to be like, "Oh, you're so young." And they're like, "Oh, well, at least you're still beautiful." I'm like, "I know I'm beautiful." You know, stuff like that. There's just little words that I know people mean well, but unfortunately, like I don't take it as well. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I think which is why a lot of people, I'd say, mask with chronic illness, because they don't want, like you say, they don't want people to feel sorry for them. Um, because I don't either. Like occasionally, I might, if I'm lazy, take advantage of the resources of having Crohn's. If I'm can't do something, I'll blame it on it, and I might do it for a laugh, because you got to have a laugh sometimes. But sometimes, like, it's just a lot of people find out what it is because you have it, and there's lots of misconceptions of chronic illness. Um, like people, like you say, like being young, like that's one thing. A lot of people will say, like, I'd thought when you get older you might have that, and like a lot of the time, not many people think just because people may be in their 20s, 30s, they're not gonna have chronic illness. It's impossible, but it's not. It's actually the most. I think it's the most common, actually. Like people who are younger actually have chronic illness.
Yeah, I mean, this is on my perspective, but I am so happy I got diagnosed at a young age. I got diagnosed at 12 because it didn't, I kind of grew up with my illness, so it wasn't a change. Um, so you just have to look at the bright stuff and positive stuff. I mean, yeah, unfortunately, yeah, it's awful. Getting diagnosed, you never have like a quote unquote normal childhood, but I didn't it's not like I didn't mind it, but I was just like, well, I was given to this at a young age. There's nothing I can do about it, you know? So in a way it has helped me because I had to grow up with this disease, and in my early childhood I definitely was masking. I did not want anyone to know, and it's because you want to feel quote unquote normal. But what is normal?
Yeah, well, I don't think I know anymore what normal is. Yeah, I think no one is normal, really. I think we're all got something about us that we're who we are because of what we have and who we have around us. Maybe
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if you've seen the movie Cruella on Disney Plus.
I've heard of it. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
heard of
they
it.
they use one of the actors playing it was like, I think normal has to be the most boring thing. Why not be extraordinary? And I love that. It was just a really good. I know they're talking about something else, but it's like at the end of the day, yeah, like who wants to fit in? Who wants to be normal? At least I don't. At least now, because I see everyone struggles and goes through something, and this is just my struggling.
Yeah, it is good. It's good where like we notice those things watching telly. Like I think now, especially the last couple of years, has been better in the sense I think of awareness of chronic illness than ever before. I think maybe the pandemic helped with that, where people being more known of it. Not because of like the governments are in charge. I think it's more to do with the people that have it themselves, that are sharing their story more, really. Um, but yeah, it's great to share your story and get it out there because you never know who it will help.
That is very true. You never know who's listening. So,
Right?
Mason, kind of changing gears a little bit to a more exciting topic. I know that you love Doctor Who, and I know because I watch on your TikToks, that's all you post. I still haven't seen it. Can you believe it?
Yeah, you still haven't seen it.
No, I know. I know.
Yeah,
I think it's just because it's a lot of seasons and like
yeah,
episodes and stuff. I don't want to start from the very beginning.
yeah. I understand that. Like, I because the very beginning was in black and white, and I've watched a few episodes. Because in the UK, they have recently released all the episodes from the very beginning. But if you did want to start to watch it, I would suggest maybe starting from 2005, because that series one from 2005 was that's when they revived it. And you'll enjoy it from there. That's a good place to start, um, because it's great. I spend a lot of time on my TikTok doing all those different videos and cosplays and all that kind of stuff. And only recently I've started, like over here, it's all different pictures and autographs, meeting different people on Doctor Who. So, um, basically this room is a Doctor Who room, I think. But yes, it's good fun. I reckon you'll enjoy it if you like sci-fi and stuff. It's time travel.
Yes, definitely. And I know that you have, like you said, you have some guests that you've connected with, and I think it's amazing. So tell people like where they could find your episodes, your platforms.
Yeah, so at the moment I'm doing a series called Doctor Who and Autism Celebrations on my podcast. Like I said at the beginning I do different series around the year about different things. And because it's Doctor Who's 60th anniversary, I decided to do a series. Last year I actually did a series for it called just Doctor Who and Autism series, but I've upgraded it this year to call it Doctor Who and Autism Celebrations. And that has run between August. We did a series in August, and at the start of September, that was part one of the series. It was only kind of single episodes, so like a one-on-one chat like me and Kimberly are now. And then for November this month, or for November, because that's the 60th anniversary month, I've been doing different group episodes. So people have been on before talking about Doctor Who, autism, neurodiversity. And then what will happen when that series finishes? In time for the 60th anniversary, because that series is a lead up to it. But I've had a few special guests that have been on Doctor Who, including a doctor actually, which that episode will go out on the 23rd, which is being kept a surprise. Because I think it's better for it to be a surprise rather than me say it months beforehand, because that episode was recorded like in June and it's been kept a surprise and no one knows who it is. But yeah, that is actually going to be called Doctor Who podcast festive specials, where they'll be running from I think the 22nd of November till like just before New Year's, before next year, and potentially there might be a few more episodes early January. But yeah, that's a little bit about that series, and there are other series that I do about mental health and autism, Crohn's. I think last December actually, which Kimberly was involved in, was a series called Communities Unite, where a lot of people from different communities. It might have been a chronic illness episode, autism, Crohn's. And that was just a kind of, I guess, a reunion kind of series from the past 3 years of the podcast, or past two, when that aired. So like people meeting each other, and that might be a 5 year thing perhaps for the podcast, just inviting people coming back. But I'll get where you can find the podcast. So the podcast, as I said at the beginning, it's called Crohn's and Autism Awareness Advocate, and you can find that on Spotify wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you want to watch it, you can go on YouTube and type in Autistic Advocate for Crohn's, and you can watch it on there. And that's also my Instagram where you can find it as well. So Autistic Advocate for Crohn's, and on Facebook, it's called My Journey with Crohn's Disease and Autism, and that's where you can find it. But yeah, it's good fun, as Kimberly knows. Podcasting is good fun. But yeah, you can find it all there. And if you want to tune in to any episodes, at the moment there's an episode every day until the 23rd of November this month. But as this is releasing early December, there will be episodes in December as well. At least every week of December. So yeah.
So exciting. Yeah, I'll be sure to leave all your links down below, and I'll be sure to link the episode where I was on, and of course the reunion, because that was so much fun. I remember like it was people with different chronic illnesses just coming together. We also did one about mental health awareness, I
Yeah, we
think.
did. Yeah, well, that was a good one. That was. I think that was last year. And yeah, we did one about mental health. I think the first one you just came on to share your story, and then you did that Communities Unite one where you had some people that you knew who come on, and we're doing a series next year, I think, together as well, like one with me and you, which I don't know. I don't know if we should share the name just yet, just so it could be a surprise for people. But
It's been a surprise.
yeah, yeah. But this series is actually I guess we could say a year or 2 years in the making. Because we talked about it last year but we had a little break by doing it, and it's quite funny. The one guest we've done, or I think we had one guest, and, and they their episode hasn't been released yet, and when it gets released, they're gonna be thinking, how long ago did I do this?
I want to say you
Yeah.
did it like, well, it was last year. It was before my foot, or maybe it was beginning
Yeah.
of this year. I don't remember honestly.
I think it was the beginning of this year. I think it was around maybe March time, where
Oh
we
yeah.
started, and then we created a load of groups that will still be there. But yeah, we'll after my break, we'll definitely do that, and hopefully we can release it for the summer of
Oh yeah.
2024.
That'll be so much fun. But yes, we have so many exciting projects. Is there anything, well, you mentioned the Doctor Who, obviously. I'm not sure. I think this episode will come out like around December. But so hopefully like it'll be out and people can go after this episode, go watch yours. It's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah,
I'm definitely looking forward to.
definitely.
I always love your
Definitely.
episodes. Yeah.
It's like the special one with the Doctor is actually an hour and 39 minutes special, so it's a very long episode. Um, and I will, if you follow me on like social media, I will actually announce that a day before the episode comes out. So there's going to be a little kind of trailer for what the Doctor is going to be, and there's also going to be a trailer just to announce all the guests. But the on the one, well, the one with all the guests, I am going to there are going to be some surprises, but from December actually there is going to be episodes out there. There is actually before we finish, forgot to mention this. There's an actor from Doctor Who has Crohn's disease, and that is going to be a special episode airing on the Crohn's and Colitis Awareness Week on the week of the 7th of December, and I think I'm going to release it on the 9th. So that week it's actually quite cool because it coincides with the Doctor Who series and Crohn's and Colitis Awareness Week, which was for then. And actually, I didn't know this actor had Crohn's until I reached out and they said I have Crohn's, and that's what they were interested about coming on. So that it's great, and it's great that hobbies, which is my podcast is quite involved around it, which is why we talk about something like Doctor Who that raises awareness of other stuff like Crohn's or autism or chronic illness. Because like say we talk about, I don't know, that everyone's gonna know about it really. They might not have watched it, but you would have heard of it. And not many people would know about other things like that. That's what raises awareness really.
Yeah, definitely. Then I'll be sure to leave all your links down below so they don't miss that. That is amazing how someone is open to talking about having a chronic illness and stuff like that, spreading awareness. I absolutely love it. Well, thank you so much, Mason. Always a pleasure catching up with you and for you to share your story, to talk about stuff and upcoming projects. And any last words you would like to say?
I just want to say to anyone listening or watching, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. And feel free to reach out if you want to talk about anything, if you want to share your story. I'm more than happy to do that. But yeah, I hope you've got something out this episode about how it can be hard to talk about something like personal, like a chronic illness. But the more we talk about it, the more it will help others and hopefully help you if you're watching this. But yeah, thank you to Kimberly for inviting me on. And it's been I've had lots of fun.
I love it, Mason. I couldn't have said it better myself. I will make sure to leave all your links down below. And thank you so much. Always a pleasure. I'll see you on your podcast.
See you then.